Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching. The channel's called Ratchet. My name's Andrew, and on this episode, I give you a big juicy update of everything that's been going on. Run the title. Welcome to the channel, if you're new. If you're not, thank you for tuning back in for another episode. If you haven't seen any of the previous videos that I have released, you can click up in the top right hand corner and that will take you through to a playlist of all of the videos that I have released so far. If you like what you're seeing and you want to make sure you don't miss any future episodes that I do release, make sure you hit the subscribe button below. Leave a thumbs up, leave a comment. It's always really appreciated to read what you guys think about the progress that I'm making. On today's episode, I'm going to be giving you a run through of everything that has been going on in the last 7 to 10 days. It's just loads of little jobs that I've needed to get done, and I've finally got round to getting them done. So it's a nice feeling of accomplishment, and I'll be pleased to share what's been going on with you. So without too much more waffling, let's get on with that. So first things first, tank straps. When I first made the tank straps out of aluminium, a friend of mine said, hang on, shouldn't those be stainless? To which I replied, I don't know, should they be? So after that, another couple of people did actually reply or leave a comment on one of the videos saying that they really should be stainless. So lesson learned. So what I did was flatten them all out, and then use those as templates to make them out of stainless steel. So I think these are 1.5mm. It's metal that I did have laying around from a previous project that I've just had kicking around for years. So it was good to finally get that material put to some good use. So again, they will be lined with some thin rubber sheet just to stop any chafing. But now they're made out of stainless, there won't be any fatigue, stress, fractures, or any worry of that nature. So all 6 tank straps have now been remade and fitted up. So that is a nice job to get done and out the way. Next up is the fuel filler caps. I've got all of the holes drilled to get those mounted onto the top panel, which is good. And then I've drilled the main hole for the actual fuel to go down through into the tanks. On the passenger side, I did have to do some remedial work to the mounting plate on the underside. Basically, the holes weren't in the correct position to allow a nice straight line of the filler neck down through to the tank. So I just had to weld up all of the holes, all of the existing holes, re-drill those in the correct locations to give me a nice straight alignment of the fuel filler neck. So only a little job, but something nice to get ticked off of the list. Moving round to the back side and the rear bulkhead, the first most noticeable thing is the fact that I've got the header tank mocked up in place. I need to order a new length of rubber hose so I can have that routed in the way that I want it to. Maybe you chaps can shed some light. I'm pretty sure that is the oil pressure sensor. At what height does that need to be mounted? Does it need to be at the highest point of the engine? Can it be anywhere? Can you please let me know? If it doesn't have to be any particular height, then obviously I would like to tuck it right out the way so it's at least visible as possible. But after Googling and goodness knows what else, I really can't find a definitive answer, and I don't know. So if you can let me know the height necessary of the oil pressure sensor, that would be really appreciated. Moving around to some slightly more fun stuff. This back panel, I've now stripped off the protective film. And when I made it, if I'm honest, I wasn't 100% sold. I didn't think it looked good enough. I was a bit dubious about the end result, and I was thinking about completely scrapping it and going back to just the single skin bulkhead. So I spent some hours cleaning it up with the hammer and dolly and the sander, just to try and get it to a more finished state. And what I have introduced is a rolled lip around the perimeter of the window. And I really think that has just helped give the panel a far more thought about finish than just having a flat edge running up to the perimeter of the window. So I think that's really helped. And also what I did do was remove the distributor and then drill the rest of the holes that I need to have it riveted to the chassis. Also, I introduced a slight kink along the bottom in the panel, which has given me, well, if I'm honest, 3 or 4 mil clearance to the closest HT lead. And if I'm honest, I'm happy with that. I'll see how it goes. But that is the back now. And I'm happy with how it looks. And I think this is now a detail that I can live with. And it's now going to stay. Right, you'll have to excuse the sound. There's some work going on outside the front of the house. So you may hear the generator in the background, which is slightly annoying. But anyway, let's crack on. Moving round to the front, there's a couple of items that I've now got mocked up into place. You'll see the horn is back in temporarily, and that is now on a very simple custom bracket, tucking the horn away underneath one of the front panels. And the washer bottle I've now got mounted next to the heater, actually inside the car. And I'll come on to that in a couple of minutes' time. So my plan for the front is to have nothing else other than the pedal box on show here. Previously it was an absolute mess, as I'm sure you'll remember. If you don't, go back and have a look at the video. There was servos, vacuum, washer bottle, horn and everything else going on up there. So my plan now is to have nothing but the pedal box, so a super clean look, which I'm looking forward to seeing if I can actually pull off. So if you can sort of imagine that with just my panelling and all of the nice angles that I've managed to create, I think it should look pretty smart up in this front end if it does pan out how I would like. And then internally, like I mentioned, I've now got the washer bottle mounted high up next to the heater on a custom bracket. And I wanted to do that, like I've mentioned, to free up as much space as possible in the front of the car. So before I could get the washer bottle mounted, what I had to do was make the new aluminium panels for the internal panelling. Now, those that have been following right from the start will remember that I made the lower panels from ABS plastic. And the reason I did that is because I didn't think I had the skill set to be able to make and form these shapes out of aluminium. And the ABS sheet was so simple. It was just unbelievable. But now I think probably 30 or 40 panels later, maybe that's a slight exaggeration, I now felt like I had the skill set to be able to make these nicely out of aluminium sheet. So that was another really good, nice job ticked off of the list, getting these made up, because it almost felt like I was back where I started 4 months ago when this was just an interior makeover project. So passenger side, lower panel, nicely formed out of alley, and then a top panel. And then what will come, probably the next thing I'm going to do, is the new cloaking panels for the fuel filler necks. And then driver side, which is the same thing, lower panel, nice top panel, and then I'll work on the cloaking panel for the fuel filler neck on that side. So what I think I've mentioned before, and what I'm continuing to try and do, is completely dry build the car before I start fitting any panels into place permanently. So I've still got the job of brake and clutch lines. I need to get onto that, start getting the pedal box properly plumbed into place. I also need to rework the fuel system as well, trying to get that paired back and fitted into the small space behind the driver's side fuel tank, because again, that's something else that I want to have hidden from view along with everything else that I'm trying to tuck away. So there's still some big ticket items that I need to get my head around. I think possibly continue the momentum. I'm going to make the filler cap panels, and then I might move on to the fuel system as well, and then closely followed by the brake and clutch lines. So there's still a whole ton of stuff to do. I'm not even in a position to start making a to-do list, because there's still too much to do, and I think a list of the length that it would need to be would just be a bit too overwhelming at the moment. So that basically wraps up this shorter than usual episode. I just wanted to get you up to speed on all the little niggly jobs that I've been trying to get done and out the way. If you like what you have seen, make sure you hit the subscribe button, leave us a comment, always appreciate that one. Coming up on the next episode, I don't really know yet. I think I've covered off a few jobs, or I've mentioned a few jobs that I want to get out the way. Some of the bigger things like clutch brake lines, fuel system, I'll make sure I do get on camera, so I can share that with you. Other little bits and pieces, I think I'll just crack on and get them smashed out of the way, because time is ticking. So up until then, I will catch you next time.